It's time once again for gods everywhere to quake in their mighty celestial boots. Kratos is back for a new edition of God of War. Everyone's favourite shaven-headed deity demolisher has returned for a new adventure, taking place many years after the end of the third game. During this time, the Ghost of Sparta has been busy, relocating his life to Scandinavia in search of a new beginning. But how has he changed? And what awaits the player in this new Nordic adventure? Welcome to the world of Norse mythology. It's a stark contrast from the ancient Greek setting, with trees, snow, and rune-carved stone dominating the landscape. Perhaps the biggest evolution to be found, though, is within Kratos himself. Chief among these developments is something that will certainly impact the gameplay experience for the player and Kratos' own emotional journey throughout the game. That's right, Kratos now has a giant beard. Also a son. That's probably more important. Enter Atreus. Raising the boy has clearly made an impact on Kratos' personality, and their father-son relationship is the core building block for the whole new narrative. He is no longer the embodiment of rage and vengeance. In the gameplay revealed so far, we clearly see a more mature side of the immortal god, nurturing his son, teaching him how to hunt, how to fight, and the art of tough love.
Do not be sorry. Be better.
We may also see Atreus doing his share of teaching in return. In the sections of gameplay revealed so far, we see him becoming a calming, perhaps even rational influence on his father, bestowing advice which he received from his recently deceased mother.
But not everyone is bad. Mother always said to be open to those who can help.
In fact, Atreus' mother's death appears to be the catalyst for the game's narrative, as the journey begins with the quest to fulfill her final wish, to take her ashes to a resting place atop the highest peak in all the Norse realms. This weighty narrative is in keeping with the broader tonal shift in the series, and this new God of War journey promises a more emotional story than we've seen before, combined with challenging puzzles and a whole load of intense combat. And speaking of combat, like its predecessors, fighting is still front and centre in the new God of War, although, like Kratos, it has evolved. Battles are still vicious and brutal, but they take on a more deliberate and impactful style, complete with satisfying spurts of lava from Norse foes.
Brace your shots! I will draw it from me!
In a fight, the father-son duo team up, with Kratos taking on the lion's share of the butchery, and Atreus providing critical strategic combat support with well-placed arrows capable of stunning enemies amongst his other acrobatic moves. This, however, is not the limit of the boy's abilities. Having a god for a dad will do that. Atreus has powers of his own, but they appear to be couched in empathy rather than violence. The youngster is capable of sensing the thoughts and feelings of creatures throughout the landscape. He can read the runic language of the world around them, and can even decipher the intentions of gigantic sea monsters.
He wants to help us!
I really hope he's got that one right. Don't think our father-son duo will be talking their way out of every epic encounter though. The adventure looks set to thrust the pair against a host of angry Nordic enemies, and with the rich tapestry of Norse mythology to call upon, this game promises to feature battles like nothing we've seen before in God of War. All that said, can Kratos truly escape his past? How will Atreus respond when he learns of his godly origins, not to mention his father's destructive history? Wherever the story goes though, God of War is shaping up to be a unique adventure, combining the series staples with a new, relatable and ultimately human story. Should we be preparing to shed tears as much as lava blood? Only time will tell.